President Donald Trump has ordered the deployment of 200 Oregon National Guard troops to Portland. His justification has been to protect immigration and customs enforcement facilities that he says are under siege by Antifa and alleged domestic terrorists. In a fiery post on Truth Social, Trump called Portland war-ravaged and authorized the use of full force if needed. The announcement followed a deadly shooting at an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas, which Trump blamed on the radical left despite no public evidence linking the attack to Antifa.
There is no threat to national security.
Oregon's Democratic leadership has gone to court. Governor Tina Kotek and Attorney General Dan Rayfield filed a federal lawsuit calling the move provocative, arbitrary, and unlawful. They argue the president has no authority to federalize state National Guard troops without evidence of insurrection or rebellion.
We do not need or want federal troops in Oregon stoking fear, creating conflict, and frankly escalating a situation that is under control. Any federal takeover with military troops in our state is a threat to communities across Oregon. It violates our right to govern ourselves. It interferes with local law enforcement's ability to fulfill their mission. And frankly, it drains taxpayer resources that could be better spent elsewhere. And again, I communicated that to the president directly. Oregon is our home. It is not a military target. Any deployment would be an abuse of power and a misuse of federal troops. I believe the president does not have the authority to deploy federal troops on state soil. I'm coordinating with Attorney General Dan Rayfield to see if any response is necessary, and we will be prepared to respond if we have to.
The lawsuit cites the Posse Comitatus Act and the 10th Amendment, warning Trump is trampling state sovereignty. It also accuses the administration of relying on social media gossip and a Fox News segment that mixed 2020 protest footage with recent images to exaggerate unrest. Governor Kotek insists Portland is calm and safe.
There is no insurrection, there is no threat to national security, and there is no need for military troops in our major city.
Mayor Keith Wilson struck a similar note. Over 100 Oregon leaders, including Senators Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley, business groups, unions and community organizations signed an open letter warning federal troops could derail Portland's fragile economic recovery. They point to crime data showing homicides are down 51% in 2025 and downtown foot traffic at post-pandemic highs. At the center of Trump's case is Antifa. The president recently signed an order designating the loose movement of anti-fascist activists as a domestic terrorist organization, despite legal experts warning that there is no mechanism in US law for such a designation.
Well, Antifa is going to be designated a domestic terrorist organization. The president intends to sign that executive order very soon as it's drafted, as soon as today, later this afternoon.
The Department of Homeland Security has accused Portland's Rose City Antifa of doxing ICE officers and issuing death threats. Antifa denies any responsibility. Critics say Trump is reviving the law and order playbook of 2020, when federal deployments in Portland escalated protests after George Floyd's killing. Trump's fixation with Portland is nothing new. In 2020, federal forces clashed with protesters for months in the city, making Portland a symbolic battleground in his narrative of urban decay under Democrats. Observers say the city remains useful for Trump's political messaging. Liberal, sanctuary policies, and a history of long protests. Portland, in the White House's view, is an avatar of the left. Senator Jeff Merkley warns the president is trying to provoke chaos. He says what Trump wants is violent interaction, so do not help him achieve his objective. Supporters of Trump's move, including Republican Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer, argue that Portland has become a crime-ridden war zone and applaud federal action. But state leaders, civil rights groups and legal experts argue the precedent is dangerous. If allowed to stand, it could let the president federalize troops against any state that disagrees with him. For Portland residents, the clash is as much about perception as it is about reality. Locals share images of farmers markets, paddleboarders and food trucks online with a touch of sarcasm. Captions reading "Life in war-ravaged Portland." A city that sees itself in the middle of a peaceful recovery is now being dragged back into the national spotlight.